Dear highly sensitive soul, hello and welcome to this episode in which I would love to talk about the hidden stories your body is holding on to. Many of us already know how powerful our minds can be when it comes to our bodies. The health industry often emphasizes the importance of not just what we put in our bodies, but also what we put into our minds. Positive thoughts, they say, are a hack for a healthier, happier life. And on some level, we've all felt this, right? Think about how happy thoughts about a person, place, or event can give you butterflies in your stomach, while troubling thoughts can create physical tension or even pain. So this idea that the mind affects the body isn't exactly new. Which is why today I want to flip that idea on its head. So just imagine this for a while. What if your body, the physical sensations you feel, has just as much influence on your mind? What if your reactions, your mental state, and even your mindset are deeply tied to the memories stored in your body? This concept is especially important for us highly sensitive people. Our trait includes processing events and emotions on a deeper level than the average person, which in return means that we will also be storing more things on a deeper level and in ways that we're not even aware of. To explain this, let's use a simple metaphor. Imagine your body being this massive storage device, a USB drive or computer desktop. Now, if I asked you to go through every file on your desktop or USB, how many files would make you go, "Oh wow, I had no idea this was in there"? Most of us aren't aware of everything stored on our devices. And when we do a little spring cleaning, we're often surprised by what we find. Your amazing human body works in a similar way, and needless to say, has more storing capacity than any device created by humans will ever have. It has stored every significant experience, big or small, joyful or painful. Even the ones your conscious mind may have shut out because they were too overwhelming or traumatic to process at the time. Here's what: most of our core beliefs about ourselves, life, and the world are formed by the time we're just 7 years old. That means much of what your body has stored comes from a time you likely don't even remember. But your body remembers. It holds on to these experiences, and they influence how you're reacting to events in your adult life, whether you're aware of it or not. Let's look how this plays out. Imagine you're an entrepreneur who's just launched a new product. You've poured your heart and soul into it, but it flops. Little to no sales. In that moment, you feel disappointed, and that disappointment shows up where? In your body. And if I were to ask you why, you'd naturally point to the failed product launch. But here's where it gets interesting. If we were to take a deep dive using NLP techniques, we might discover that the very first time you felt this exact energy in your body was much earlier. Maybe when you worked hard for that school talent show or that project presentation, only for no one to appreciate it, maybe not even your parents. This stung, and you made a decision in the body and the mind of the child you were back then about what that had to mean about you. You'd poured your heart into something and it didn't get any recognition, which had to mean that you and the things you did were insignificant. And so while the disappointment you feel today is real, the intensity of that emotion might be amplified by the echoes of that earlier experience as a young child. Or what about having an offer for your services rejected? While it's true that your adult version will be reading the words, "Thank you for sending us your offer, but we've decided to go with another offer," your inner child, with the help of your body's tremendous memory, is doing some interpreting, which may sound along the lines of, "I don't want to play with you because you're different and I don't like you." Both childhood and adult experiences carry the same emotional weight: rejection, inadequacy, and the sting of being overlooked, even when you gave your best effort. Now let me give you a personal example of stored experiences that I had while being coached myself. I wanted to work on a limiting belief that sounded something like, "Every industry I aim for shuts its door on me," having to do with the experience of struggling to gain stability as a language teacher, classical singer, and coach. And so after asking me about the feeling in my body while saying this, the coach then led me on a discovery journey to see when I had first felt that exact energy. Now, this is crazy because I was taken back to a memory that I hadn't been present to for decades. My brother was about 6 months old, which means that I must have been about 4 years old. And what was happening in that memory is that a good friend of my mom's had come over to visit with her daughter, who was about 3 years older than I, and had been like a big sister to me until then. Now, with my brother being the new baby, she took more interest in him, and during that particular visit made it clear that she wasn't interested in playing with me. Whenever I followed her, asking her to please play with me, she would go to another room, taking my brother with her and shutting the door behind her. This went on for long enough to make me feel annoyed, and apparently for my body to take notice of this, because let me be honest with you, I had not thought about that memory until here I am, 42 years later, working on a limiting belief that every industry I turned to closed its doors on me. And yes, do you notice the parallel of this girl going from room to room and closing the door on me so that I couldn't enter and play with them? It's crazy, but this is how amazing our body is when it comes to storing memories and giving us the answer when we're ready to turn to it. Here's the thing. Remembering those rude incidents alone won't magically fix everything, but that awareness is indeed the first step. By identifying the original moments when these feelings first appeared, you can begin to rewrite the story you told yourself back then and you've been telling yourself ever since. With the help of NLP techniques, an effective one being one called timeline therapy, you can revisit those events and shift the narrative, healing not just the memory, but its ripple effects it's been having on your present experiences. Imagine changing how you respond to that failed product launch or the client rejection, not by ignoring or numbing the pain, but by gaining a deep understanding where it really comes from and addressing it as its root. So here are some final thoughts I'd love to leave you with. Your body is more than just a vessel. It's a storyteller holding on to every chapter of your life. By tuning in and exploring what's stored inside, you can begin to take ownership and to transform not just your mindset, but your entire way of experiencing the world. And that's where true healing and growth begin. I hope this episode has been helpful and perhaps even sparked your curiosity to explore the stories from your past that may be shaping your present experiences. If you'd like to learn more about how to uncover and heal these stories, I'd love to support you. You can reach me directly at agakuracoaching@gmail.com or visit my calendar link to book a free 30-minute discovery call. Thank you for listening and take care. I hope to welcome you back into this space very soon.